Good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode 8 of Games with Go, where we are going to make weapon slots and armor slots in our inventory system so we can take our items and actually equip them. That's the goal. We'll see if we make it. So, one thing I wanted to do is a little bit of cleanup. For instance, we have this little bit of crazy code here where we have an if condition where we do nothing and then an else. So we're going to reverse this. So this is where we're checking to see if we've started dragging something. So we'll clean that up a little bit. And the other thing I wanted to do is we're starting to have a lot of code to deal with the inventory now, mixed up with the code that does the rendering of the game proper. So I'm going to pull that out into a separate file. So we'll make a new file in the same folder as the UI. And we'll make it part of the same package. So again, this doesn't change how the code works at all. It just makes it more organized for us. So when we're trying to find things, we know we can just hop straight to the inventory file rather than scrolling or searching around in here endlessly. So what are some of our inventory functions? We have draw inventory. All these functions here. So all of these are going to move. This is the function that draws the inventory screen. This gets rectangles for the inventory and the inventory items. Checks to see where you've dropped the item into. Let's see, what else could we move? These two as well. These are kind of like our update methods for inventory stuff. So we'll pull these into here as well. We need to do the same imports, or some of them. So some of these are unused for now. But we need our game and SDL. I think that is erroneous. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's see if we still run. Yes, we do. Okay, so we're going to want kind of like squares where we drop our items for the different positions. We'll start with just like a helmet spot and a weapon spot. We could later have like chest armor. You could get as complicated as you want, but we'll start just with a helmet slot and a weapon slot. And I don't want to put it actually on the guy. Maybe we could. I think it's going to look I don't think it would look good. Like, it's not going to be the right size unless we mess with it a lot. Uh-oh. Oh, my reverse logic is incorrect. Yeah, I think we'll just make little square slots where we drop these things into. So let's give that a try and then fix our logic here. So this was, if they're both not nil, else. Oh, I see. There we go. Yeah, I was thinking we were checking both of these for being nil, but we can just make that a not. Okay, over to the inventory. We need to draw our helmet slot and our weapon slot. So let's actually draw, put a little bit of space between the top of our inventory area and where we draw the player. Let's see, where are we getting? Okay, our inventory rect. So we'll take the height of our inventory rect and just do like 5%. Of that. We'll need to make it an integer. Make that the float. All right, so that gives us a little space. Is it enough for the helmet? Okay. Remember that we want to do things by percentages so that things can scale for screen size automatically. Okay, so let's follow the pattern of having functions for the sort of rectangles we're using. So we'll do a helmet slot one. And we're going to base it off the inventory rectangle. So we'll get that. And then The size is going to need to be the same as our item, or approximately. So for that, we'll use the same calculation. So item size, this will be the slot size in this case. And we could make it a little bigger, maybe times 0.5 again. Put that inside here, since we're already floating inside there. So this will make a square a little bit bigger than the item we're going to drop into it. Then the rectangle, I'm going to put in the middle. So this is the very middle of the inventory rectangle, and then we shift it over by half of its width so that it's centered. And then it's going to start at the top, and it's going to be slot size in both directions. .x. Okay, so now we're going to need a different color rectangle. If you want, you can make some real art for yourself. So we're going to do the same trick here. And at this point also we're building up enough state that has to do with the inventory that we might want to put that in its own struct so that it's separated from the UI. We're getting close to that point. I'm just going to make this black. Blend mode doesn't matter. This is going to be not see-through. So now we're going to draw it. Source background. Yeah, just nil for that, and then get helmet slot rectangle. UI helmet slot rectangle. Nothing. Are we drawing it in the right order? Oh, maybe I made it totally transparent. I'm gonna set the blend mode just to be sure. Nothing. Let's print this out, see what it looks like. It's 191, 90, oh, 2 by 2. That's no good. Oh, this should be 1.05. That's the problem. Well, it's a problem. Oh, it's over there. Why is it over there? Oh. That actually makes sense. So this is wrong. This is not where the center is. That is where the center is. No, that's not right either. So the right side of the rectangle is x plus the width. The left side is just x. There we go. So let's make this black again. All right, then we need to do the same idea for weapon. Except this time we're going to be more on the left side. Then we're going to need an offset, which is something like, I don't know, 20% of Y. Way more. Let's make a Y offset. Now this should be a percentage of the height. So let's go back to 0.2. There we go, very close. All right, we'll start with that for now. And now what we want to do is be able to drag items that we picked up onto those spots. That'll be how we equip weapons. So one thing we'll need is a way to distinguish what type of item we have. So let's go to our items struct. And we're going to have an item type, enum. For now, we'll have weapon, helmet, and just other. We don't even need other yet. So just have that. And put type right up there at the start. So this will be, sword will be weapon, and helmet will be helmet. Easy enough. All right, so check dropped item, checks to see if we dropped something. Let's do a function that checks to see if we equip something. So first we'll check our so we should have a dragged item already. So if the UI dragged item I think we need to make type capital so we can access it. There we go. Just hadn't updated yet. Okay, so if the type is sword, oh, there is no sword. That's why. Weapon. Then we'll check for weapons. All right, so in this case, we want to get our weapon slot. So get weapon slot or rectangle. And we want to see if we are intersecting, just like we do here. So if R has intersection, with the mouse, then we'll want to, I guess we'll go ahead and take the, well, the character is going to need equipment now. So let's go back to game. So we'll have helmet and weapon. And we're going to need an input type for equipping these things. So we've got take item, we've got drop item. So we'll make one that's equip item. Okay, so when we equip item, we'll need to handle it. Let's go back to inventory. So we're just going to, if we're equipping anything, we'll return it. So and this will be the same idea, except for helmet slots. Should be ampersand, not star. Mouse position. Otherwise, we'll return nil because nothing has been equipped. And we'll just do it the go way. All right. So now we need to go to our game loop. Same patterns for checking for dropped. We'll say item equals UI.check equipped item. I don't think check equipped item actually needs the level, does it? Neither does check dropped item, does it? Check inventory items needs it. But check dropped item does not, and neither does check equipped item. So we can yank that out. That's always good to remove things. And this time, if it's not nil, then we're equipping an item. So just be item. And we're no longer drag and dropping. So now in our game, we have to check our type again. So if input item type is helmet, okay, and then we can we could add this to the events. Let's just see if this seems to work though. The other thing we need to do is we need to render whatever is equipped in the slot. So inventory. See, that saves us from scrolling quite so much. So if level.player.helmet is not equal to nil, so if they've got one equipped, then render it. How do we grab texture atlas? UI.texture index. Get the rune. We'll need the address to that rectangle. And our destination rectangle is UI dot get helmet slot rectangle. So it should just go right on top. And the same logic for the weapon slot. The weapon's not nil. We'll render it. Let's see how much is broken. Okay, that puts it in our inventory. Should not let us do anything there. All right. Oh, look, we still have it though. That's an oversight. We have infinite helmets now. It actually gave us an invalid pointer. Inventory 72. We're able to drag item was null sometimes. Don't we check that it's not null before calling that? Interesting. But let's yank it out of our inventory when we equip it. So anytime we equip, we should be also removing from items. So let's make a separate function for this called equip. So we'll take a character and an item. And we'll just equip. So we'll want to verify that the character actually has the item we're trying to equip. So for item, too many items. Okay, so iterate over all the items a character has. And if that item equals the item to equip, then we know we have it. And so then we can remove from the list. So we can say Is that the delete syntax? Let's see, where else am I doing it? I+1. It's close. That's right, because that's inclusive, so it'd have to be +1. Okay, so that will delete that item from their items list. And then we need to check the types. So if, we'll just move this. Item to equip. All right, and then also once that happens, we can break out of the loop or just return from the function because we're done. And if we don't find this, we should probably panic or something, some kind of error, and say someone tried to equip a thing they don't have. And this will just call equip character in the input item. All right. Someone's texting me. See if it's important. It is not. Okay. So helmet, drag it, and now it's gone. Awesome. And now we need to be able to undrag it. Or swap in a different item. We don't have a way to test that right now because we only have one item type. All right, and sword works. So that is a start. Now obviously there's lots of ways you can make this look much prettier, right? Instead of using just a brown rectangle and black rectangles, you would preferably get some kind of artwork to use instead. But it's the same process. You just replace the single pixel texture we have for these things and replace that with your actual artwork. And you can make it look as nice as you want. Okay, so now that we can equip things, let's have these affect our attacks. So where does attacking happen? Right here. Okay, so currently attack power is just strength, but it could also be, we need our items to affect this. So let's go to our items and give them some sort of power. We'll make power a float. And we'll say this is, maybe we can do that as like a percentage. So we can say sword versus your fist, that's probably 2 times. 2 times better at least. And a helmet maybe reduces your damage by, I don't know, 10%. Because you're not always getting hit in the helmet. You can make up any scheme you want for this, but this is the basic idea. So now at this point we would say this equals strength. And then if C1 dot weapon is not equal to nil, so we'll multiply our attack power by the weapon power. So we'll make this a float temporarily, and then back to an int. Okay, and then same thing for hit points. We want to say let's say damage is equal to C1 attack power. And then if C2 dot helmet is not equal to nil, then damage equals damage times so that'll be 90% if that's that's fine. Okay, so that should knock off 10% for the helmet power. And then again, you could imagine that a character could have a whole set of different armor things. So you might actually have an array of armor items that you could iterate over and keep applying whatever modifiers you want them to be. So let's see if this works. Let's make sure we have some stuff to attack. Maybe put some spiders. Okay. So we attacked the spider for 5 damage, and he attacked us for 5 damage. We put a helmet on, but will we reduce it any? Oh! We've crashed. Okay, that was the same bug we got before. So dragging... I think I know what's wrong. I think we need to check this first. I need to check again to see if let's go straight for the helmet. He's still hitting me for 5. That is probably because we don't have a big enough percentage for it to matter with integers. So where are we defining? Let's make it cut damage in half. Still hitting us for 5. So they still call that same attack method. So 1 minus helmet power should be 0.5. Oh, we never changed this to refer to damage. So now the second character's hit points in an attack is reduced by the damage that's been modified. It's based on attack power but been modified. Oh, it's counting this as dropping it because it's looking at the mouse position. So what we could do is make that rectangle that we're using for the mouse that's just 1 pixel by 1 pixel and actually make it the size of that icon so that that would still intersect. That would be better. Still being attacked for 5. What does it mean? So let's see if this is even happening. So we're being attacked. We have a helmet. Oh, I know it's wrong. So I think the damage is actually correct, but we're not printing out the damage. Simple enough. There we go, for 2. Awesome. We're dead. So we're just currently panicking when we die, so that's not really a bug. So let's see, how much are we attacking spiders for? We're attacking spiders for 5. Let's see if we can get a sword before we die. Probably need both of these things for safety. All right. 10. That's twice as much. Still not enough though, they killed us. All right though, so that's working. That's given us a basic inventory system. There's still a lot of things to do. For instance, we should probably be able to drag things straight from the ground to our slots rather than this 2-step process. That's painful. We need to be able to drag things back off. We should probably be able to click, do a right click or something to just snap to the obvious inventory spots. Sometimes there will only be one option. Eventually we might have a left-hand and right-hand weapon, and so you couldn't just right-click and have it go automatically. But if you already had a weapon equipped, then you could right-click and it would snap to whichever available slot is open. And helmets would always go to helmets and so on. It would just be a better interface. So right now you're just stuck with that helmet forever. And then obviously you could have, you need to have a whole array of items, not just one helmet, one sword, and so on, with different properties. And something you might want to do if your set of items gets really big, is move these into some sort of text format so that you can treat this as data that you load from a text file rather than having to modify code to tweak and add things to your game, just like we do with our maps and so on. So this might be something that, if it gets pretty complex, you might want to switch this to loading all this info from text files instead. All right, any questions about tonight's stream or any previous streams? programming in general. I'll hang on and chat for a few minutes if anyone's got questions. You can escape the rats by going to a new level. That works. So I think on our next stream, we're gonna set aside the 2D RPG for a little bit and do some OpenGL. We'll probably do the equivalent of Hello World for OpenGL, which is to render a triangle. And we'll get started on the basics of 3D rendering with OpenGL. Okay, looks like no questions. So good night, everybody, and I'll see you on Thursday, and we'll do some OpenGL. That'll be the plan. Good night.